So we're going to get our esteemed mentor to explain a little bit about, well, about Bitcoin. Okay.
I ask you, what do you own in your life that you think your family will still have intact that will be valuable 300 years from now? What would that be? Because there's no conventional thing, there's no company that's going to last 300 years, right? They might not live in New Zealand 300 years from now. I could give you 10,000 acres in Auckland, and the issue is, so can you take it with you when the government changes and they decide to seize the assets of people with blue eyes, right? Because it happens. If you look at the history of the 20th century, and you're like, what country didn't seize the assets of somebody over 100 years? You had one country, the United States, that won every war, and yet that country's currency lost 99.9% of its value against scarce assets. That's the winner, right? The winner gives you 0.1% of your wealth. The rest is all just anxiety-inducing counterparty risk.
So let's narrow down what he's talking about here, okay? And that's something really important, because where is it? This one here, okay? Because the power of the dollar is going, well, he mentioned, just to unpack a lot of stuff here, okay? So the power of the dollar to be able to purchase is going down, okay? So that means, like, back in the 60s, women, the mother of the house started to go to work, okay, because they kind of needed a little bit more money. Back in the 80s, it became, 3 working in the home, so the dad had to go get a second job. Back in the 2000s, now there's 4 jobs in the house because the mom has to go get a second job as well. And so do you see the trend? What's going on here is that over time, your ability to buy stuff with the dollar is going down. And he hit on a really good point, because if it's going down, where are we going? What's going to happen? The next 100 years, the next 20 years? Like, you look at Argentina and Venezuela and other countries, and this chart is really in 10 years, it looks like this, okay? And so where are we going to go in the next few years? And that was the other thing that he brought up, was the power of the dollar. Is if 100 years from now, what's our family going to do?
Of the 900 trillion in capital in the global capital markets, half of it is just store of value, long-term capital. People with money just want to keep their money. Rich just want to stay rich. I give you an organization $1 billion in the endowment. You just want to not lose the $1 billion.
Precisely.
Right? That 450 trillion is invested in buildings that are rusting. It's invested in cars. It's invested in fleets. It's invested in things that suffer from 20th century risk factors. Credit default, war, tariff, tornado.
Tax.
Like, you had a good business at Kodak and your family had all their money in Kodak, and then what happened? Or you own Xerox, and what happened? I could give you 10,000 examples of risk factors that destroy wealth. So you've got that 450 trillion on one side, and then you've got 1 trillion digital capital. It's like, well, I had a building, I get rid of all the things that make the building a problem, and I make it an invisible, immortal, indestructible, teleportable digital building.
That'd be cool.
Well, that's what Bitcoin is.
And that's what Bitcoin is, okay? It's an intellectual property that can be transferred instantaneously from one person to another. And I'll address this more in a couple of seconds. But this power of having something that you can move from one place to another, that if you have to leave where you are, you can't take your land with you, can't take the buildings with you. Like, here in this country, we're pretty safe, but will it always be so? I don't know. But we need to be protecting our families, our future, for the long term, not just for today, not just for tomorrow.
Nobody ever said, hey, only put the kids on the school bus that you don't need me to return. Only buy a ticket on my airplane if you don't need to reach the destination. The engineers of the world don't say, hey, don't drive across my bridge if you really need to reach the other side. And so what I say is only buy Bitcoin with the money you can't afford to lose. I'm not going to equivocate. You shouldn't equivocate. People that equivocate don't understand Bitcoin. They still don't get the idea of perfect money. We didn't invest in it because we wanted to take a risk. We invested it out of of disgust with the world that forces us to take risk with everything else, where the risks are stacked against us and undisclosed.
And that's really important. I'm going to turn on my video again, that way you guys can see me. There we go. And that's weird. Okay.
That last point was good.
Yeah, like these are really important points. Okay. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about Bitcoin and why it's important, and then I'm gonna talk about how Bitcoin's made. Okay. So Bitcoin is the best asset in the world. And the reason why it's the best asset is because one of the reasons why is 8 of the past 11 years, it has been the top performing asset. Okay. There's other things that make Bitcoin a really good commodity, is the fact that the way it's scarce, okay, and it's becoming scarcer as time goes on. Let me explain what this is. You may have heard of the halving before. The halving is every day Bitcoin, there's a production of Bitcoin, okay, and every 4 years that production is cut in half. And so that production is cutting in half. And so that means that there's less available in the open market. At the same time, the desirability of Bitcoin is going up, and it's going up because it's scarce, because it's not destructible, because you can transfer it from one person to another, because it's recorded on the blockchain where it tells the truth, like you can't lie on the blockchain. Okay, so there's lots of reasons why it is the best asset in the world. Okay, so let's talk about how Bitcoin is made. Okay, well, let's talk about 3 things that you can do. You can acquire Bitcoin 3 different ways. 1 is by mining it, which we will talk about. 2 is by buying it, and I encourage you to do that. A lot of companies, a lot of people are buying Bitcoin in the marketplace. Okay, and that's a good way to acquire it. And the third way is by giving goods and services that people pay you in Bitcoin for your goods and services. Okay, so let's talk about the mining portion of how Bitcoin is mined and where it comes from. Okay, so this here is a computer. Okay, and the computer's job is to perform mathematical computations. And what it does is all it does is sit on the network, and it detects movement on the network. So for example, this is a graphical interface to show Bitcoin in real time right now that's being moved from place A to place B. Okay. And what happens is one of these miners has to pick up that job and then do a mathematical computation and then posts it on the blockchain. The first computer that posts on the blockchain then wins that reward of commission, and the amount of CPU that they contributed to this process is then logged here in the block, and every 10 minutes that block is then sent to the mining pool. Okay, and so this is the process that new Bitcoin is created via this revealing of the block every 10 minutes. And now the commission is just the transaction fees. So for example, in this block here that was moved, okay, there was $16.4 million worth of Bitcoin moved from here to there. And the commission on that was almost 2,000 sats. Okay, this block over here, as example, another 94.4 million. This little teeny weeny block here, wow, they moved like 444.444 bitcoins. Like they let, not bitcoins, they 44 cents worth of Bitcoin. Great, someone needed to move something. So this one is 506. So the amount that you can send, it doesn't matter. You can send any amount that you want to anywhere in the world at any point in time you want. There's no restrictions, there's no hold bars. Okay, and that's what makes Bitcoin really cool. So let's come into how we are involved in this process. Okay, so the way we are involved is we have a booster, a thumb drive. This is just a thumb drive that connects to a server. And what it does is that this device connects to the network, connects to the blockchain as well, and it instead detects movement on the network. And what it does is it then sends the information to the mining machine that says, do this job, next, do this job, do this job, do this job. And that way, what it's doing is it's filtering the information to make it more efficient. And here's the reason why, is because remember I talked about only the first computer that logs gets to receive that commission. Every single other computer after that that's logging is just a confirmation, but they don't receive any commission from that. So from our perspective, well, we don't need to do that job. And so the booster filters out this noise and only gives valid jobs to the miners to do. And so they become more efficient as a result. Okay. So in that process, are generating Bitcoin, okay, and mining Bitcoin have produced, we share out the Bitcoin back to the miners, okay? And so the Bitcoin that is being shared out, that's being generated, 60% of it goes back to the mining operation, which includes the boosters. 35% of it goes to the marketing plan, and 5% of it goes to the parent company. And you got to keep the lights on. Like, they've got a good IT team, they've got a good accounting team, and they've got a lot of things going because they want to make money too. So with us. And so this is how all the Bitcoin that's created every day is shared out. This is a graph showing that we had earned 100 Bitcoin by June 26th. And so just in that perspective, on June 26th, 60 of the Bitcoin went back to the mining operation, including the miners. 35 of them went to the marketing plan, and 5 went back to the parent company. Okay, so we have an opportunity here where we are facilitating mining operation becoming more efficient, and we can buy a machine and it simply generates for us Bitcoin every single day. And it was like, wow, this is super great. It's creating Bitcoin for us, and we receive it in our back office. Let me show you a little bit about first how, remember I talked about when you mine, the only way to get the Bitcoin out of the mining pool is by being connected to the mining operation that put it there to begin with. Okay. And so this is how we get it out of the mining pool, is directly from the mining pool. Let me show you this. Let me fast forward. Let me put on the sound first, and then I'll fast forward to where I want to go. Okay. So she's going to show us how to withdraw, which we can talk about later, because it is important to withdraw. Do it all the time. But if you log to this page here, this is the Web3 data platform, where it's basically the blockchain, and everybody has access to see the transactions that occur in the blockchain. Okay. And so she's going to walk you through how to see where our transaction, when you click withdrawal from the platform and the Bitcoin, you receive the Bitcoin. This shows where it actually comes from.
surfoaklink.com. Paste your BTC wallet address. Click on the TX ID, which is transaction ID. Verify the date. It was received on March 14th, 2024 at 17 hours, 27 minutes, and 55 seconds. Note the block height as 834644. Then, scroll down to see that our address, BC1P30, received 0.001 BTC. Next, click on the sender address, 3MPFY, which is the BitHarvest cold wallet. Scroll down again to identify the source of the BTC input. Click on the sender address, BC1QKG, which is also a BitHarvest cold wallet, having sent 0.499 BTC. Continue scrolling down, then click on the sender address, BC1Q4LM, which sent 0.5 BTC. This is identified as the mining pool wallet. By scrolling further, you can verify the input is from BTC, the mining pool company. That's it. You have learned how to successfully verify that your BTC income is the output from BTC, the mining pool company.
Okay. So the mining pool company via BTC, that's where we get our money from. Okay. So the Bitcoin that it gets put into via BTC, via the mining operation, because we're connected to that, you can pull it back out. There's no other way to get Bitcoin out of that process. And so this now becomes the best way to acquire Bitcoin is simply by being connected to the mining process. And so every day you receive Bitcoin every single day. And you buy the machine one time. Buy it one time, it's now working for you, doing a job, and you receive Bitcoin every day after that. Let me talk a little bit about the company itself. Okay. Our company has for a company to have transactions using money transactions, okay, they have to have an MSB license from FinCEN if they want to be legal in the United States. I know this is not the United States, but the United States, their policies affect many people in the world. Let me tell you about FinCEN. FinCEN stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network Department of the Treasury. Okay. And so this agency is in charge of investigating, in charge of policing, in charge of making sure that every company that has anything to do with money transactions, they are legally doing what they're supposed to be doing. And what they're concerned with is money laundering. What they're concerned is with fraud. What they're concerned is with Ponzi schemes. Okay. And so we had to apply for a license, and our license number is 31000-270-260-594. And you can just whip your phone and grab that QR code. It'll take you to the FinCEN website and then type in the number. Okay. And so we had to apply for this license and to receive it. And there's a little bit of financial acumen we had to do to prove that this is where the money comes from. This is where the money's going to, because they don't want Ponzi schemes. They don't want money laundering, because, that's exactly what people do. You put the money in on the bottom and the people on the top take it out. That's what money laundering is. Okay. And so this agency wants to police that and make sure that companies on the internet are doing what they say they're doing. So other companies that have this kind of license are companies like Binance, Coinbase, Coinberry, Crypto.com. Okay, so a whole list of companies like this that have to have this license, and we have it. So here's a couple other things about the company. Okay, so we started back in March 2024. And the company is located in Kuala Lumpur. Okay. So it's in Malaysia. This is a map of the country. And the offices are in Malaysia. You can walk into the office anytime you want. It's not a problem. There are lots and lots and lots of people that walk into the office every single day. This is in fact how my friend, let me tell you about him in a second. So all these people, they walk into the office every single day. This picture here is the server room. Now, the server room there's one room. This is the server room, but there are two other warehouses. In this server room, it can only hold a couple of thousand boosters, okay? Because each one of these is 20 unit. But they have other warehouses. And why? Because of disaster recovery. Because that way, if something happens, they can move equipment from one place to another, and they stay running. We also, by the way, have 3 mining farms that we work with that are also licensed with their respective governments. One is in the United States. It's in Texas Mining Farms. The other one is in Ethiopia. Which is really cool. That one, they have water cooled for their servers. And the next one is in Cambodia. So these are the three of the companies that we are working with. And right now there are only 3. And like I said, they all have to be licensed with their respective governments. And so this process, like, we're trying to be above board on every single aspect so that we can form a business, they can form a business, and we can conjointly work together and we'll make some money together. Okay. Let me tell you about my friend when he went to the office. So he was across the street, okay, having lunch at his hotel. And there we go. Let's turn off the sound on this one. There we go. Okay. So he's across the street, and some guys walk in. He's having lunch in his hotel in Kuala Lumpur. And they go, "You come with us. We've got a meeting." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever." And he goes, "No, you gotta come." And so he walks across the street, walks into the office, and he goes, "Okay, tell me what you guys do." And they told him all about it. And he was like, "This is the best thing since sliced bread." Okay. This is actually him a few months later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through. They are in the server room, okay, here. And what she's going to do is she's going to walk over to this rack here, okay? And she's going to pull that rack out so you can see the rack. Now, for me as an IT guy, I like this because all of the equipment is housed by them. I don't have to deal with anything like that. I don't have to deal with the internet connection. I don't have to deal with the servers. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff, or dealing with the problem between the chair and the keyboard. I don't have to deal with that either. Okay. So this is really cool because it's housed by them. They deal with it. If there's a problem, they swap the unit out, put another one in its place. Okay. So she's going to walk over to the far end of the server room, because every single device has an IMEI number. Okay. So it's like a cell phone. Okay. And it's a MAC address that allows it to connect to the internet. And so each one of these lines here is a transaction going on right now as they speak. And so what she's going to do is she's going to connect, find out where his device is, what number it is, and then she's going to pull that device out. So what we're going to do is we're going to look first on his device, and it's enabled. Okay. And then he goes up to the top of the screen and shows that it's active there. So at this point in time, he had 5.3 devices on there. Okay. So it's active. What she's going to do now is she's going to then pull the device out of the rack and pull it out. And by doing so, it makes the device disconnected from the network. And so what he's going to do is he sees that it's inactive there. And we slide down to the bottom of the page. Takes him a little bit to get there. There we go. So there is line 17 again. So it's now in real time, according to the video, disconnected from the network. And that's the IMEI number of the device. And on this, that's again the exact same IMEI number, because it has to be the same, because it interfaces with us through the app, interfaces with the mining farm at the same time. So we're going to fast forward just a teeny weeny bit, and she's going to put it back in. And then we go back up to the top, and his device is now enabled again. So that's how fast it connects. So there, with this device, we've got a 5-year warranty. Okay. And if there's something happens during that 5 years, it will, they'll just simply swap it out, replace it, no big deal, and away we go. In fact, you may not even know that there's a problem. All right, what else can I tell you? This company, we won an award in May for the best service provider in the industry. Okay, this was really cool. Like, we're a brand new company at the time, and we won this award at the expo in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so this is Logan Lee. He's the CEO, and this is Lenny Herlin. Lenny had this software running for 2 years prior to Logan Lee getting in touch with him. The reason why Logan Lee was in touch with him is because he was running a mining farm, a little hobby farm on his own. He's going, what can I do to improve this efficiency? Okay, and so this is how these two got together, and they formed the company. This is Dr. Mark Datuk, and he's adding all sorts of cool stuff to the process. These are, just some pictures about people, conventions that we're doing, all sorts of stuff. Like, really, we are all over the world. This is specs about the device. Now, so let's talk about the device itself. You can buy as many devices as you want. You can start as little as $100, or you can go up to whatever. So one device costs $1,000. Its output is about between $3 to $5 a day, approximately. Okay. And there's 3 reasons why the amount varies over time. Okay. The amount varies because what is the price of Bitcoin at the time? The amount varies because how many of the jobs need to be picked up, like, well, how many transactions are going on in the network? And the third is how many of those transactions do we acquire? Okay. So these factors are what contribute to the price going up and down. And it does. So because the price is going up and down, that's why it varies. Okay. So you can buy one shared device if you want to, and it produces 30 to 50 cents a day. That's about how much it is. Some people start at a higher number. That's okay. Start at 1,000 and off they go. My goal is to get up to 50 boosters about as quick as I can, because then it's producing between 150 to 250 bucks a day. And this makes it a really nice passive income. Now, everything I'm talking about here is the device is simply generating passive income for you. That's all it's doing. It's generating the Bitcoin. Now, I haven't in this example, I haven't talked to anyone. I haven't done any of that. All I did was buy a machine and it's working. Okay. And that's really nice. Now there is three types of people that are interested in connecting with this company. The first type is what I'm describing right now, is simply passive income working for you. The second is let's say there's people that, I know a young lady that she needed to have income right now, a certain amount. And so she went and sold boosters to people. And that's okay too. So that's the second way, is you can talk to people and, hey, come buy some boosters. Perfect. Then the third way is people that like to work with people and build a team. And so as you build a team, more boosters appear on your account and you get paid some more for that. Any questions so far? I will simply.
One question,
Yes,
Walter.
go ahead, Nick.
Yes, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I want to give us the update that how many boosters have been sold until now, and what is the prediction?
But there's been about 100,000 boosters sold, is my understanding. Okay, so there's only 500,000 boosters for sale. Okay. One lady walked into the office 3 months ago and she bought 500 boosters. Okay. And then a few weeks later, she walked in the office again and bought another 1,000 boosters. And then a few weeks ago, she walked in the office again and bought another 1,000 boosters. So she's got now 2,500 boosters. Actually, I think she's got 3,000 boosters on her system. 3,000 boosters. That means she's making between $3,000 to $5,000 per day on 1,000 boosters. That's a lot of money. She does not have a team. She's the only person on her team. And all she has is just the boosters are working for her. She actually has a manufacturing company. And so she just took some of the resources that she had and put them into this company. This is a really cool business because, the running this kind of a business, instead of running a traditional business, you don't have the headaches, you don't have the hassle, and you plug in the device and it works practically indefinitely. Okay. But sorry, I couldn't really answer the question, Nick, any better than that, because I don't know. I can only tell you what's on Jan's team, what he tells me. So I think he said there's 100,000 boosters that have been sold so far, or at least he's like right on the cusp. So it's like pretty cool. My job. Hey, how can I help you? If your goal, like you need to know what your goals are. Okay. You need to decide what you're doing. And if you change your mind, that's okay. It's not a problem. Okay. You decide what you're doing. Where do you want to be in 5 months? Where do you want to be in 5 years, for that matter? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? Mind your business. Okay. So I mind my business. And so I know I had to start with 0.1 boosters. Okay. That's all I had time. And that's all I could do was start with $100. Okay. And so I pulled all the resources I could together, get $100. And from there, I then started compounding my account. And so every day I do pretty much the same thing. I take my Bitcoin, I convert it to USDT, and then I buy another share, and then I pull out a little bit because the minimum withdrawal is $10. And so that's what I do every time. And so I've grown my account from 0.1 boosters to 5.8 boosters. Okay. This is the IMEI number for your device. For my device, this is my device, is my IMEI number. If I take this, and I would encourage you, please do, go take this invoice that you receive, talk to your tax consultant. Important to do so. And you could potentially get a write-off based upon factors that you could then get the thing written off and get paid from the government to have your own business at home, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, go talk to your tax consultant. I'm not a tax consultant. You go talk to them. Okay. But take this invoice with you. And you can take this invoice, and it has lots of information. It has the specs about the machine. Custodian means they're housing it in their server room. Okay. And talks about the date, talks about all sorts of stuff, talks about the price. Don't worry about the BTH price. It's 10%. And that was the full amount. Okay. So that was a share booster. here at the bottom, this is where the 5-year warranty is. Okay. So that's where the warranty is on the device. And every single device that is connected, it'll be here. So if you ever go back here and you see one of them has an X on it, if it has an X, it's because it's in the process of being set up. And if it has like a down arrow, inactive symbol, well, it's because something's going on. However, you probably won't notice it, and they'll have it fixed long before you do. Welcome to the team, guys. Those people that are just starting out. This is truly the best business ever. Sigmar, what can you tell me about your experience with the business?
Well, I've been in a number of different crypto platforms, and a lot of them turn out to be rug pulls where your money is gone. This one here is the best one I've come across so far. It definitely looks real, and I really like it. So I started out cautiously with just 2 shares, $200 invested. I really liked it, so I put another $800 in about a week later to get a full booster. Then within the next month, I bumped that up to about 2,200. About a month later, I figured, well, this looks really good, and I put another 2,200 in. Meanwhile, I've been able to grow the team, and so I don't just have the passive income, but I also have ranking income from generated by the mining rewards from the people that are in my downline. So I like sharing with others because I like it for myself, and I think it's good if other people can benefit from it as well. So I think it's looking good.
Yeah, I liked your point there. Like, again, I'm just an IT guy, okay? But people talk to me, they go, "Oh, what are you doing over there?" Well, this is what I'm doing. And they go, "Well, I want to do that too." Okay, here you go. And so it's like, this is like the coolest, simplest, easiest business ever because it just works. In most businesses, if you sign people up and you got people falling out the bottom and you're signing up more people falling out the bottom, is because they're not making any money. This, you activate a booster, it's now making you money. Why would anyone walk away? It just keeps on making you money. And I find that because they're making people money, all of a sudden they can't keep their mouth closed, but they go talk to everybody that they know. It's like, yeah, that's okay. You can do that.
So
Wow.
I'm taking Michael Saylor's advice, and because it's Christmas, I'm not buying junk for Christmas anymore because I just went through a 4-month purge. And whatever you buy for Christmas, you're going to be throwing away here in a few years.
Yep.
So I'm buying my daughter's a share, and so they can have some hard wealth 400 years from now. So I think that's the way to go. And I think that there's worldwide presentations are on still Christmas morning. Walter, you can confirm we're still on for Christmas morning and for Friday morning.
Yes. There will be at 11 o'clock our time, Mountain Time, a Zoom call on Christmas Day. And the reason why is because there's we're a team is worldwide, and so different places, different in the world.
I got a question. It's Mervin.
Yeah, Marvin, go ahead.
I can't open my oh yeah, there you are. Thanks. My question is everybody using Exodus as a wallet?
I would suggest using Exodus. And the reason why I would suggest using Exodus is because if you need help, I can help you because I know it. Also, if you need help, they have a really good IT team, and there's lots of YouTube videos. There's lots of stuff on Exodus, and it's really easy to use. Okay. Yes, there are other wallets out there, but here's the thing. If someone chooses to use another wallet and they tell their team member, you use this other wallet, guess who's supporting that team member? Them or me? Okay, so you're free to use whatever wallet you want. Yeah.
And maybe I could add a comment on that too. On a different project, our upline, they've dealt with many different wallets, and they're saying that Exodus is one of the best they've come across. There's the most versatility in the different coins they can cover and so forth. So it was good for me to hear that because I've been using Exodus for quite a while, and it's nice to know that it is one of the best.
It's a good solid app, and you can connect to it on your phone, connect to it on your computer, connect to it on the web. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, and it's really good. And so for those reasons, that's why I recommend. We can do a private Zoom call, and we can pull up your Exodus, and I'll walk you through what to look for, because that way you're not showing it to everybody. Okay. And what I would encourage you to do is in your Exodus is when you bring it up, only select those coins that you want to have. So you uncheck the check mark so that coin will disappear if you're not going to be using it. No point in leaving it there. And check mark the coins that you do want. And to find them, it's really easy. I'm debating on whether or not I want to show you guys on my phone. No, we can do a private call, and I'll pull up Exodus and walk you through what stuff to look for. Okay, because I want you to be able to use Exodus efficiently, and you're right. You need to make sure you got the right coin on the right blockchain, and so every coin will have an ID. Every coin will have its own picture. Okay, and the reason why, and you need to have gas in your Exodus wallet as well. So, for example, you need to have BNB if you're using Binance as gas, and you need to have Ethereum as gas if you're using USDC. And I'd encourage you to use some Tron as gas as well. That way you can use TRC20. Okay. And the reason why I recommend those three, let's use gas as an example. Okay. So you drive your car around all over the place, but you don't fill up your gas tank every day, but you do use your car periodically every day. You drive it around, use it around. Okay. And so that's what gas is it's the ability to use the account, use Exodus, and you when that coin goes below $20, let's call it, okay, I would start considering that you want to put some more gas in at that point in time. Don't let it go below 10, because if you let it go below 10, then you're running on empty, and you can only do one more transaction, as an example, and you'll find yourself in a trouble. And so I would encourage you to leave, start considering putting more funds in for gas, for BNB, and for Ethereum, and for Tron. When one of those three gets below 20, put some more in, okay? And that way you're always filling up your gas tank. But yeah, we can go through at the very bottom. You can click on add more from the main page, and from in there you can simply uncheck those coins that you're not actually using, and then check mark the ones that you are, because that way your account will be more concise and more precise. And yes, you can always search for USDT BSC or USDT TRC20 or USDC Ethereum as an example, and you have those three selected as well. Okay. And then the other thing I do is actually, when I have the coin listed, I actually choose the star at the top, because I want this coin to kind of sort to the top, because the ones that I'm not really using that much, I don't want to see them. I don't care. So I put a star, I select that star, and then it moves them up closer to the top when they've got something in it. That make sense? Go talk to the individual that gave you this video. They care about you. They want you to have a good experience, just like they're having a good experience. Go talk to them. Go create your ID and get your account going. I would encourage you also to buy a booster. Look at your situation and determine what you can do and take action. If you don't take action, you're actually really losing money every day, because the power of the money that you're in, the currency that you have, is going down. And so every day you are losing the ability to buy stuff. Okay. You're losing the ability to pay for stuff. Go take action. Because if you take action, you now have a way to make money. You now have a way to circumvent the lowering price of the dollar, and you now have an ability to make money. You now have an ability to get out of the rat race. Your friend cares about you. That's why he gave you this video. Go talk to him. Have a good experience, just like the rest of us. Make some withdrawals and have a good experience. Have a great day. Talk to you in a bit.